But even though you say you always know.
Okay, Google.
What?
Skip ad. Okay guys, so it's another day and I'm just in the process of actually trying to pack up some more of this stuff in the living room and the kitchen. Now in our house downstairs is quite a small space. It's not the biggest ground floor. We've got a pretty top heavy house because we've got 4 bedrooms upstairs, but downstairs we've only got a decent sized living room and I wouldn't say a small kitchen, a decent sized kitchen as well, which I'll be showing you in a minute. So we started yesterday. My dad came to visit and he gave me a hand. He brought me an amazing tool, which honestly I didn't realize just how much I would need this, which was a jackhammer drill. I think it's sort of like a SDS drill, but this one you have like a hammer feature that you can put a chisel in and remove the tiles. So that has been an absolute game changer. I thought this was going to be an easy job where we could save ourselves £380, which the builders was quoting us to actually get these tiles removed. But as we started and as we got the first one up, we realized that these weren't normal tiles. These tiles were absolutely huge. In fact, I sent a picture and a video to the builder to say, you know, what is going on here? These aren't tiles. And he's like, I believe those are called quarry tiles. So years and years ago, when you had old buildings with not adequate damp proof coursing and, you know, subfloor and all of that stuff, they would use these tiles which are like engineering bricks called quarry tiles. So they basically help to stop like damp from actually coming up through the floor, through the concrete, into the property. So they're very effective for that. They're also pretty expensive now actually. If you go to buy them brand new, they actually do cost quite a lot. So I'm trying my best to save as many of them as possible. I feel kind of bad like ripping them apart. Some of them got broken and, you know, ripped up in pieces. Because there's so much history and heritage with these tiles, it really feels horrible to just, you know, use a drill and just absolutely rip them apart. But the floor needs to come up and, you know, just have to do it really. Now with the tiles that I save, I'll see if I can sell them on to somebody else that might be able to use them, maybe for like a patio or mosaic sort of type flooring where they can mix and match them. Somebody else I'm sure might be able to use them. But if I can't do that, I might try and save them to use them for like a patio area outside or something. But I don't want to just throw them away because, like I said, they are quite valuable. I think they kind of deserve to be used, especially with all the history of these tiles. They do look like the original floor tiles. Now I'll show you in a little while. It actually seems like it stretches underneath the wall just behind me where the staircase is. So the tiles go under the wall, which is pretty bizarre. After the tiles were installed, the wall seemed to have later been installed on top of the tiles. So that gives you an idea just how old these tiles are. So today I'm just trying to tidy up. There's dust absolutely everywhere. I don't know why I didn't remove the sofa and all the furniture, but with Sophia not being well with her back at the moment, you know, she's sort of out of action. I'm sort of trying to pick up the slack, looking after the girls, you know, doing the school run, doing everything else in between, you know, and trying to sort of get this place ready for the builders to come around on Wednesday. Now, the thought had crossed my mind to cancel it and, you know, sort of defer it to another time because obviously Sophia's not well. She's going to need extra care and looking after. She's currently in the hospital right now and the doctors are doing what they can to help her. She's in a lot of pain with her back, and I'm sure we'll, you know, when she gets better, we'll probably have a chat about the whole experience of that. You know, going to the NHS, being told that you can't go in and support her and so on. It's been really, really tough. But, you know, as they say, life does go on. And the reason why we didn't cancel the builders actually coming around and, you know, starting this job is that if we miss this slot, we would probably have to wait around 3 months for them to be available again. And, you know, if anyone's done any building work, you know how crucial it is to to, once you've got a builder, you know, secured, and you know, you got a date for the job to start, you got to try and stick to that, because the minute you say no, they'll leave and go to another job, and you will have to wait for them to be available again. And trust me, that's something that I definitely didn't want to do. I kind of found it difficult to actually get a builder in the first place, so I don't want to lose this one. They've been very helpful. You know, I can always call him and ask him questions, and he point me in the right direction. He's happy for me to DIY as much as I can to lower the costs, and then he can come in and finish up the job, similar to what we did in the garage with the ceiling insulation. So I'm going to try my best to do as much as I can here, whether that's taking up the tiles on the floor, removing some of the cupboards. The kitchen's actually meant to be delivered on Wednesday, so I'm going to be trying my best to put that together, because it's actually a flat pack kitchen, you know, trying to save money. So the kitchen's been delivered on Wednesday, and I'm going to be fitting that together, hopefully, if all goes well. Now, we opted to do this because if we were to go for the option where they will come pre-built, which obviously is a good option, it would have costed us, I think, another £850 plus. So obviously that's a huge amount of money just to get them assembled. And I know this is something that I can do myself, and at the very least, if I can't do all of it, you know, I would obviously pay the builder to do the rest, and it won't charge, you know, he won't charge me that much to actually get them all put together. So that's another way in which I'm going to save money. So to take up the tile and the flooring, it's going to save me £380. To do the flat pack kitchen, that's going to save Saf and I around £850, or potentially more. That's just the lowest figure that I'm sort of putting on that. So it stands to reason that, you know, as much of the work that I can do myself, I will, because we just haven't got that kind of money lying around. We weren't planning on getting the kitchen done. We definitely weren't planning on working on the living room and the ground floor just right now. But you know, we kind of realized that it was the right thing to do, get this side of the property done and sorted, and before trying to focus on, you know, the garage and the utilities and the shed to do that renovation and so on. Now, while we're on the subject of talking about the garage, you know, the conversion for the annex that we're thinking about doing, I've got some really good news. We recently got the go-ahead from the council that we are able to go ahead and do this conversion. It was a bit sticky for a moment. We thought they were going to decline it. It was absolutely dragging on for months and months, which is why we decided to move on to this project instead. I had to phone up the local authority myself, the planning department, and speak with them. And after speaking to the guy on the phone, he actually was able to get all his questions answered, and you know, the information that gave him about the property, he was then able to say yes, they would grant planning, or shall I say, a certificate of lawfulness for us to convert this garage into a separate dwelling, as it were, with, you know, a sort of basically a one-bedroom flat is what it will end up being. So I'm really happy with that. The architect has gotten back to me saying that he has received that certificate. This now means that we can go to the next stage, knowing that we've got the support of the council, and you know, no one will be knocking this building down in the future, because it is a lawful development. However, that's all going to be put on hold right now as we're focusing on the main part of the house, the kitchen and the living room. So there's just so much going on, and while I'm so excited by this whole development, there's a lot. But suffice to say, I'm gonna keep cracking on. So I've been focusing on getting stuff packed up because there's just dust absolutely everywhere. So my dad and I started lifting up some of those tiles yesterday because it literally just came for the afternoon, and he said, well, let's get stuck in. I'll help you take a few up. And yeah, these poor plants are covered in dust. The sofa, I don't know why I didn't remove that from before. It's just, you know, you can see there's dust everywhere. Now I'm actually really glad that we bought a leather sofa, because we thought, you know, with kids and everything, it'll be easy to wipe and keep them clean. I wasn't factoring in dust, so yeah, these will get a good wipe down once we move them back in. So my brother's gonna come later on and help me move the sofa, also help me move this unit over here in the corner. This has mostly got Naomi's stuff in there, arts and craft and, you know, bits and pieces. I've already emptied out most of it, but there's still tons of stuff left. I need to get the TV down off the wall because that's probably already covered in dust anyway. So yeah, there is just so much to do. I've gotten a skip already from the same company, really good company that I used last time. They delivered a skip ready and waiting. So this is what we've done yesterday. My dad and I are removing those quarry tiles, which, like I said, they're so thick, it's unreal. If you look here, you can actually see where the tiles, they came up to the wall just like they did here, and we thought, okay, there's just going to be a small section that we have to remove, but then we realized that they actually go all the way underneath this wall into the kitchen on the other side. So at some point this wall was made on top of this, the tiles on the floor here. Okay, let me put this light on so hopefully you can see a bit better. I don't know why I didn't do that in the first place. But this wall here, which separates the kitchen from the living room, was actually probably built later on, after the flooring was already down. So they actually just built this wall on top of these tiles. So this whole ground floor probably was open plan. I know my neighbors, a couple of the neighbors to the other side of me, they've got open plan. So I think at some point that's how it used to be, which basically means that this staircase probably wasn't here. It does look like a fairly new staircase. I really like it. You know, the nice wooden finish is quite classy. It looks really good. I think this staircase was most likely on sort of that wall going up like it is in the other properties next door, but at some point that was changed. I do have a little storage compartment under here, which is quite cool. Not that we ever put anything in there, it's kind of it gives another meaning to under the stairs. As Naomi says, the only thing that lives under here is just spiders. Some point I'll probably try and tidy it up and use it to store something. I'm not sure what yet, but you know, storage is always a premium in houses, so you know, I don't want that to go to waste. But yeah, kind of creepy. You got a taste of the old wallpaper there as well, what probably used to be in here. We've got some plaster and some wallpaper stripping off over there, so that's for another project. Next thing I'm going to do, once I've emptied everything out of the house, I will be trying to lift this floorboard. So it's pretty strange that part of the house, the ground floor, is in tile. So from the kitchen all the way into here was tiled, going around to the fireplace, and weirdly on the other side of the fireplace it's all been tiled by this quarry tile, as you can see here. So pretty bizarre. We've got the fireplace there, which is still a working fireplace. We haven't been firing it up because we've got Abby, and you know, kids and fireplaces, not a good mix. But yeah, so it's very strange that we had tiles coming through. But this section here at some point was converted into wood, which looked nice, but you know, wood and splinters and treating it and looking after it, I mean, it's warmer than tiles, but I just can't be bothered to have to maintain this. It's pretty strange because we've got wood here and we had tile here in one room, which I've never actually seen. Underneath I can see some damp-proof course, followed by some form of OSB board, and then on top of that are the wooden floors. So I need to lift this up to actually see what's under here. So I'm very curious to know what's under there. A bit scared because yeah, old house and all that, but we'll see. Now the problem that we're going to have, I suspect, and I was speaking to the builder about this, is the fact that the floor has now sunk even lower than we thought it would be because of the thickness of the previous tiles. Don't know if you can see that, but you know, that's a good, I don't know, 4 centimeters give or take of thickness, and we're going to have to find some way to make up the difference, which is going to cost me, no doubt. So this is the tool that my dad brought to actually get them removed, and honestly it's an absolute godsend. All I had to do was just buy a set of these chisels, which we used to dig the tiles up, but that's for another time. Now before I go into the kitchen, please forgive the mess. It is just absolute chaos, but as you can imagine, it feels like I'm moving house again. I'm trying to clear all the cupboards. Everything has to come out because the cupboards are going, and the floor space needs to be clear so that it can be tiled. Now I'm trying to keep as much of the things that we use close by, so like the food stuff for the children, because unfortunately we can't leave the house and go somewhere for a few days for the builders to crack on. We're still going to be here, so it's going to get pretty intense. We're going to have everything ripped out at some point, so I don't know what we're going to eat and how we're going to survive, but you know, we'll manage. Like I said, everything is just absolutely everywhere. Got cleaning products. I've started cleaning under the cupboards, so there's nothing in there. Most of those cupboards up there are absolutely empty, so everything is in boxes and it's just an absolute chaos. Once I've got all of this cleared, I'll probably try and give you a run through of what the plans and the layout is for the kitchen, but for now it's just in an absolute state. So all of this needs to go. So I'm going to pack all of this stuff into the garage. Now we really count ourselves lucky and blessed because we've actually got space to store all of this stuff temporarily in the garage across, which I'll show you now actually. So all of this stuff is going to be stored in here. Okay, so that does still work. So all of this stuff is going to be stored here in the garage, and some of this stuff that can fit will be crammed here into the utility room. So yeah, that's the plan anyway. I've started that process already, but there's still loads of stuff to actually take out and put in here. I'm pleased to say at the time of recording this, the garage ceiling has been insulated, and first of all it looks so much better and less just tacky and cracky and horrible to say the least. The guys have done a really good job at it. You can see around here where it's all been foamed in, and we have noticed a difference upstairs in the bedroom. The girls' rooms are much warmer. They keep the heat for longer. Still not perfect, but again, it's an old cottage and this place still needs to be completely airtight. So hopefully once the garage door is removed and replaced and this door is insulated and everywhere else, I mean, we've still got old windows sort of like in the property. I mean, who remembers these? I don't know if anyone still has old metal framed windows like these in their properties, but yeah, they're just horrible. So once down here is converted, I'm sure it's going to be a lot warmer. You know, getting rid of all these single pane windows, putting in some double glazing will make a huge difference. So yeah, this is where we're at the moment, trying to ferry all of this stuff into the garage for storage. And unfortunately, because supply is not very well at the moment, I'm riding solo, but I know we'll get there eventually.
He broke me drill.